right, we get it rolling. Friday night after Warrior basketball. Larry Krueger with the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig in a Pickle. Check them out, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County. They're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. If you're like me and you live out in the East Bay, get your barbecue in Emeryville. If you're out in the North Bay, check them out in Corte Madera. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. All right, we get things rolling. Packed house tonight. Baller on the bottom of the screen. Frank Red up top. Danny's getting his camera working over there. He'll be with us. Now we had Dan right there.
There we are.
There we go. There we go. We'll get rid of this other guy out of there. Oh, and make sure we. Here we go. How do we kick Danny there? Okay, we'll kick the guest out. Okay, there we go. And Cy's going to join us a little bit in a bit after a locked on Warriors. The Warriors came out in the first quarter tonight and got a 17-point lead. They won that first quarter 32-16. It was looking like it was going to be a absolute one-sided game. Kings did not play with most of their starters. They had a bunch of guys sitting out. Warriors just need to win tonight and win against Portland, and they will be the sixth seed, and they'll take the Kings on in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. But if the Warriors were to lose one of these games, and if the Lakers were to win out, the Lakers would be that sixth seed. Guys, what did you think of the game? I was a little nervous in that second quarter when I watched Sacramento jump back into the game. Warriors only led 53-48 at halftime, and I was thinking, oh my goodness. The Kings are gonna actually win this game, but Golden State took care of business in the second half, and very business-like win, I thought, for the Warriors. Give me your guys' takeaway.
They handled business, right? The Warriors had all the incentive to come out and play hard and get this game. The Kings didn't have much to play for, but the Warriors came out. They handled business, and what I noticed, fellas, Steve Kerr went to a playoff rotation. Really, it was 8 guys, 9 guys if you want to include Moody's 5 minutes. But really, it was primarily an 8-man rotation. They treated this thing like a playoff game, all right? And a few of the players that really stood out, the Splash Bros were efficient, shot the ball well, but Dante DiVincenzo was terrific tonight. I want to see where he finished up.
18 and 9.
Yeah, how
18,
about
18 6 and 9.
Exactly, Dan. Kevon Looney, this guy's leading the NBA in offensive rebounds. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but Kevon Looney's been so consistent. He showed up big tonight, and absolutely. I want to hear what you guys got to say.
Well, go ahead, Frank. What'd you think? I mean, by the way, for Looney tonight, guys, he had 13 boards in the first half. That was his most rebounds in any one half all year. He finished with 16, 6 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. Kevon Looney leads the NBA in total rebounds. Frank, what did you think? I mean, Golden State had 24 turnovers, 12 in each half. That really made it a closer game than it probably should have been.
Yeah, that concerned me, to be quite honest, because I think if they have 24 turnovers in game one, they're going to have a tough time beating Sacramento. Now, a couple of things I saw, the Warriors contested more shots tonight than they have on the road in recent games. And as a result, their defense was better. Looney was phenomenal in the first half. Sometimes I look at Curry, and he appears to be just a little bored, but doesn't bother me because I know he's Curry. He's always going to come back and do what he needs to do at the most opportune times. I mean, the numbers were so gaudy. I don't know if they quite tell the story, but I thought the compete factor was there overall. The only person who I was disappointed by, I have to say it, is Jordan Poole. I thought Jordan Poole's mental approach to tonight's game was unacceptable. He was, again, on his soapbox with the referees complaining. And it's okay to go 0 for 10. I mean, Tim Hardaway was 0 for 17 one game with 14 assists, and they still won. But he needs to recognize that this is the moment. I don't think they can win a championship without him. Baller talked about Dante DiVincenzo. I'm running out of superlative to talk about this guy. And I'm thinking if the Warriors have an opportunity to jettison Poole and keep Dante, they're going to think long and hard about that, man, because that guy is such a great fit for this team. And Jordan, step up, man. I mean, you played 8 out of 10 games. Tonight was not a very good game for him.
Danny, the man from Manila, what'd you think? Did you see the game or
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I've got the NBA app, and so bought a smart TV over here for the family. Put it up and watched it on the bigger screen. So yeah, I think the Warriors, like Baller said, they did what they had to do. Wasn't pretty at times with the turnovers, but they played with the intensity that was playoff intensity. And when Sacramento made their run, they got it to within, I believe it was 7 at one point. And then they quickly pushed it right back up into the third quarter. They got it as high as 16, and then it finished with 13. But then, come out in the fourth, pushed it back up to 20. I think it was that fast break where they did a 2-on-1, and Curry laid it in. You saw Kenny Atkinson and Kerr kind of, a fist bumping each other, like, yeah, finally looking what we've been working on, get these guys to, So I think the biggest thing I'm looking at going forward is you got Portland Sunday night. The Clippers have tomorrow night. They got Portland, and then who do they finish up with Sunday? Clippers. You guys know? I look it up on my phone, but then I have to leave this screen. I'm using my phone right now. But the thing is,
Suns.
Suns.
Who do they got? The Suns.
Phoenix. Yeah.
The Suns are playing for nothing, so it's going to be
the Suns are locked into the 4 seed, right?
Right. So that game's going to be who wants to throw it worse. I mean, because here's the deal. I think Clippers win, but you can't really throw a game if New Orleans and the Lakers keep winning, because the Clippers, if they lose one, can they fall out of the 6 and go into the play-in? If they go 1-1 and the Lakers go 2-0, and because the thing is, are the Warriors going to want to try to lose the game if they can to stay in the 6th seed, or is that going to put them in danger of falling to the 7th? Because if they win, I think they're going to finish in the 5th seed, because I think the Suns will just, the Clips will just, take that 6th spot.
That's why all the games are being played at 12:30. All of them have been played at the
I know,
same
they're
time.
all. So it's kind of weird. This happened a couple years ago. I remember Portland and Denver were playing, and Portland, somebody was up like by 40 or 50 points, and then they ended up losing.
Well, they don't want to give anybody an advantage for sure, and they, and they obviously don't want to rob the fans of a meaningful experience if they can. I want to go back to Jordan Poole though, guys, for a second. It's amazing to me. It's like, does Jordan Poole not know who he is as a basketball player? You shoot 33% from 3. You're almost a 90% foul shooter. Now, this year it's down at 88%, or career he's 88%. He's had some years where he's been, 93%. He's still one of the NBA's premier foul shooters. Go to the rim. To me, it's absolutely, when you watch Jordan Poole, 0 for 10. There's no crime in 0 for 10, but 0 for 6 from 3, put it on the deck and go to the rim. There's other guys in this team that can't put it on the deck and go to the rim. All they can do is shoot threes. I don't like Lamb
He shot
driving.
9 free throws, though, Larry. He shot 9 free throws.
Well,
I was actually going to say, okay, it wasn't his best game, but I thought he was attacking. He did get the 9. He did get 3. 3 of them came on a 3-point foul.
But 6 threes, when they're not falling, you can beat anybody in this league. You can beat them off the dribble and go to the rim. That should be his game. His game should be go to the rim. Go to the, because if you go to the line, you're making 9 out of 10 almost. So go to the rim a lot more. If there's one thing I want to see less of from him, I want to see less 3-point attempts, and I want to see more beating your man off the dribble and creating for other people, or take it all the way in and go inside and draw the foul and get to the line. To me, when he's going to the line a lot, and when to me, that he's a much more efficient basketball player, and I don't think he's that great of a 3-point shooter. I really don't. I don't feel like it's going in. I mean, 33%.
There was one point, I can't remember, it was late third, fourth quarter. He drove to the lane, got clobbered. I swear I heard a thud. It sounded like he got hit so hard, and they didn't call it. And I think it's because the refs really are not, like Frank says, he complains about a lot of calls, and
he doesn't get them.
He's not getting them.
He has not cultivated a relationship or a respect among the NBA officials. And guess what? If it hasn't happened and it's April the 7th, it ain't going to happen. So to me, how many guys on this team realistically can beat their man off the dribble and get in the lane? Green can't do it. Looney can't do it. It's
Curry
Steph and Poole, and I would say, outside of that, maybe Kuminga, right? Kuminga can knife inside.
When Wiggins is there, he can blow by on occasion.
Wiggins. But this is a team that has a lot of guys who can shoot. Baldwin can shoot threes. Lamb can shoot threes. Moody can shoot the three ball. You got other guys who can shoot the basketball, go to the rim and create for somebody else, or go to the line. And I just think that's his best game. And I don't know why a guy who shoots 33%, who's on the same team with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, would not try to penetrate more. Why are you taking 6 threes when the shots aren't falling? Your perimeter shot was not falling tonight. So that bothered me.
They're all professionals, man. The referees are professionals. They're on television. Their families are watching. Their colleagues are watching. And to see a third-year, fourth-year player who hasn't really done much, besides play a complimentary role, to see him just be so disrespectful on the court. I mean, you're a pro. You're a guy who's making $30 million a year next year. You're one of the ambassadors of the NBA. It has to stop, because you're right, Dan. He gets fouled sometimes, and they simply will not call the foul unless they think that they're going to be disciplined in some way, because it's so obvious, and then they'll blow the whistle, and then they'll make the call. But in those most pivotal points in the game, when the Warriors really need justification for a foul, he may or may not get it because of his antics.
I will say this about Jordan Poole, though. Shooters shoot, and they have this mentality, next shot's going down. I mean, we've seen Curry sometimes go 1 for 10, 2 for 12.
That's Curry, though. That's Curry. That's the greatest shooter of all time.
Right, but to make your point, he was 0 for 6, and he's going to shoot that 0 for 5 shot when he's open instead of drive, because he's thinking it's going down. And he did help close out the game the other night against OKC.
It's a consistency, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's a young player. He's a young player, though. I mean, Curry had some up and down in the first couple years, too, with a lot of turnovers. And he
went on a championship team.
And also think about it this way, Danny. How many guys, there's a lot of guys who don't have the kind of ability to go to the hole and beat anybody off the dribble. Jordan Poole's got a first step and an explosion to him. He's got a jetpack attached to his back. He can get into the lane at will. So, what happened to attacking the bucket? I mean, to me, he balances out the team better when he attacks the rim. But I'll say this: the more I watch Golden State, the more I would rather see a guy like DiVincenzo in key moments in the fourth quarter than Poole. I think DiVincenzo's a better all-around player. He makes other people better. He rebounds the ball. He can create for others. He had 9 assists tonight. He was plus 33, best of anybody on the floor. So DiVincenzo, the one thing that gives me first of all, I don't know how you guys feel about Sacramento. Sacramento, of course, tonight's not a good night to evaluate them. There was no Malik Monk. They were without Monk. They were without Sabonis. They were without who else?
Fox,
Sabonis, Monk,
Herder.
Herder. I mean, they basically, are just tucked it away for the playoffs. And it kind of makes me wonder, is there any did the Warriors gain anything tonight other than the win from Sacramento? And I bring this up because I remember the year when the We Believe Warriors took on Dallas at the end of the year. And Dallas basically just phoned it in. And that actually allowed Golden State to get in the playoffs. They could have showed up and played to the end of the schedule and not played Golden State. Instead, they didn't show up, didn't play their guys. Golden State got in. Golden State beat Dallas and pulled one of the great upsets in the history of the NBA playoffs. Did the Warriors gain anything mentally, emotionally on Sacramento by winning in their building tonight? Or is it just because there were so many key contributors for the Kings who didn't go? It's really just about getting the W tonight. Is there not overlap? Is there anything that's going to continue, any residual benefit, I guess, down the road from getting this win tonight if these teams play in the first round?
I think the fact that you played at the Golden One Center, or, the Splash Brothers had a good game. You're getting acclimated to the lighting and whatnot. Yep. That's probably the big takeaway. I don't think, with the Kings resting, their top 4 players or whatever you want to call it, you're not going to learn too much on the court. It's going to be a completely different team that the Warriors would theoretically play if they do match up in the playoffs. So I don't think there's a whole lot you can gain other than the fact that you won the game, and right now that's what's keeping you out of this play-in.
Right. That's the big thing is the plus is the win, stay out of the play-in. I do think, like you said, Baller, the Warriors are the most seasoned team in the league. So they know what it takes to win in the playoffs, and they know that, they played, the B team tonight. So they know if they match up, they're going to be playing the A team. But to Baller, what he said is going in, the vibe of winning, being in the locker room, that same locker room, coming back next week to it. There's a feel like, hey, it's not going to be like, oh, we got this easy, but there's a better feeling than walking away with a taste of a loss.
I actually would disagree to a certain degree because they were able to get a look at 2 guys tonight that they didn't necessarily know were going to be in the game plan. Trey Lyles, I think, was viewed as kind of a good, solid player, but he's probably better than that. So I think that, the Warriors will go back now and figure out what they need to do when he's on the court. I mean, he looked really, really good. And also, I think that they had planned for Davion Mitchell, to kind of be that Curry stopper, if you will. And he was absolutely horrible. I mean, they had to take him off the court because he couldn't make a shot. Now, he's not that bad a shooter, but if he's going to be their explicit defensive guy to go against the Warriors, backcourt mates, that's going to put Sacramento at a disadvantage because you have to take out one of their better offensive players. So they learned a lot about Davion Mitchell's lack of confidence, a lack of offense, and I think that Trey Lyles is now in the Warriors' game plan for next week.
Yeah, another thing I thought of about this, we're talking about the lineup and Poole and Larry, you mentioned how feel more comfortable with DiVincenzo down the stretch, and I think Kerr does too. So
just a little bit more. He can do more than just score. He's a complete player.
Right. So I think you're gonna see a lot of is in that closing lineup, instead of Poole, you could have DiVincenzo and Payton at times out there together with a combination of Steph and Clay and Green, or even Wiggins, and maybe you take off Payton or DiVincenzo, but they have that 6 deep, and does if Poole's messing up, he may fall into that 7th spot in Kerr's rotation of trusted guys he wants to go with, because I know he trusts Payton and DiVincenzo.
One super chat before we welcome in the man from Locked On. Roberto Davis says, still want Kings and Dubs to face off full strength. Kings are a tough out. Light the beam.
No,
Kings
they're
are a
not.
tough out. What is
No, they're not.
tough out? What by what measure? I mean, every 25 years you make the playoffs, you're a tough
By
out.
length of beam, by beam length, they're a
Yeah.
tough out.
You know, my
Length
goodness.
of beam.
I mean, come on. I mean,
I'm
seriously.
gonna like my Friday night stogie, folks. This was a big win tonight.
What is that? Is that a Macanudo? What do you got going there? You got a Cohiba? Is that a Cuban? Look at that! Look at that! We got smoke on the camera.
Friday night, baby. It's Friday.
We need
night.
We need a little. Who sings "Smoke on the Water"?
Shit.
Smoke on the Water. It was Rob Nen's walk-up song.
Yeah, Rob Nen's song.
Yeah, "Smoke on the Water." It's a great song.
It's
Damn, Si, look at that. You're a freaking fire hazard.
Yeah.
I'm getting Red Auerbach vibes, man.
Yeah,
Deep
seriously.
Purple. To
Deep
answer your
Purple.
question.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. 10 road wins. 10 road wins for the defending world champs. What a season. Woo!
Si, what would you say to Roberto Davis, who says the Kings are a tough out? I would say get ready to be outed. Because the Kings are going down in the first round.
They're going to go down.
There's no doubt.
And even though tonight the Warriors didn't play the Kings starters, it doesn't matter, man. The Warriors had so much pressure on themselves to win this game, you know, and sometimes teams that don't have their starters are the most dangerous, right? The Kings had nothing to lose. That Lyles guy was just eating them up for a while there, man. I'm thankful that the Warriors had Gary Payne II. And I agree with what Dan said, man. DiVincenzo had a huge game tonight. And I think this is largely because of the fact that he has Gary Payne II alongside him now in a lot of cases, relieving that defensive pressure that he oftentimes had the burden of carrying. So, yeah, man, DiVincenzo had a huge game tonight. I'm absolutely loving the efficiency of Gary Payne II and Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga's been shooting lights out over the last 5-6 games. I don't know if you look at the numbers. Huge win tonight, regardless of the fact that
I was worried about Kuminga there for a second, Si.
Why?
When he took that fall
On the injury.
Yeah.
Fall, man.
Yeah, that looked that looked bad. That looked what happened there exactly? I mean, what did he hurt there? Was there any?
Well, I mean,
he was down for a while.
He was down.
The game,
it looked like he fell really hard. I was concerned about the shoulder. It was a lot of weight. It was a forceful fall on the shoulder. And football, you see a lot of when quarterbacks fall on the shoulder, you got to worry about the collarbone. But hey,
everything. Low back.
He fell. It was a hard fall.
I think Draymond might have got concussed after that elbow from Lynn.
Draymond too. Yeah,
that was a brutal.
But the sequence of the night to me that stood out. GP2 on the chase down block where the momentum carried him he high fives the fan, then he sprints back, runs into the corner, and Curry hits him in the corner for the three. I mean, what a sequence. The block to the high five to the corner three, and I'm getting out of my chair and I'm yelling and I'm saying, Warriors basketball is back, baby.
Hell yeah.
No team's going to want to play this team in the playoffs. I can't take a team in the Western Conference over the Golden State Warriors right now. The
Denver?
way this team is lining up, we've talked all year. If only this team can peak at the right time.
And
they get GP2 back, if they get Wiggins back, well, guess what, fellas? The stars are aligning, and I think it's going to be a really fun playoff run.
How far? You say fun. To me, it's only going to be fun if they get it done.
I mean, it's
all the way
to the finals.
Here, Larry? It's championship or bust. That's what we do.
Well, I mean, I know that's their mindset, but here's the way I look at it. I think they're taking down Sacramento. I don't even doubt that at all. I'll be talking a lot of shit on Easter Sunday to my brother in Natomas. I'll say, hey, pass the ham, and by the way, pass to the second round. That's right. We're moving on.
Or light this, baby.
Yeah, light the beam.
Or sub this beam.
Exactly. So I think Golden State wins round one. I like Golden State in round two. I don't know if Golden State can take down Denver. To me, their best chance is to get them in the conference finals, because I think at that point, then it's like, the Warriors will have some momentum. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Wiggins, we don't know what Wiggins is going to look like early on. Can we hit that one for a second, by the way? Why can't Wiggins play? Why does his first game back have to be a playoff game as opposed to tonight or the Blazers game?
Well, Celebrini says that they've got these technical things that they follow, and they feel like if they get him out there right now, that he has a higher potential to get injured, and they really want to see him get in, ideal basketball shape.
Do you want to hear Dan's opinion on it, or do you want to hear the actual truth, which was I was about to say before?
Oh, look at this. Here we go.
Oh, round 2.
Here we go. Wait a second.
Ding, ding, ding.
Side just went to sweep the leg.
I'm just quoting.
No, you just love to hear yourself talk, and that's okay. Wait.
Here we go. Wait. We got one in here from the chat. There was somebody who wanted to see you guys brawl it out.
Tammy's here.
Tammy's here for round 2.
I don't look for brawls, but Dan, sometimes, man, you just talk when you shouldn't talk, dude. Like you interrupt when you're
Wait a minute, baller. Celebrini came out and said that's why he's not playing. Kerr said that.
Which is why?
Is that they want to ramp him up, and read the quotes, dang it.
Okay, that's a generic answer that, like, did you actually learn anything from that, or do you want to hear?
What does Dr. Sy have to say?
It's not Dr. Sy, it's journalist Sy, who actually has inside connections and who could give a fucking real answer instead of, just talking so that people can hear me. Andrew Wiggins did not work out at all for the entire time he was out. So he missed nearly 2 months.
What did I just say? He's not in shape, Sy.
Thanks for interrupting. Okay, so here's Dan interrupting again, being the professional he is.
Because you're blowing smoke out your wrong end.
What smoke am I blowing, man? Where else has it been reported?
I just said that he's not playing because they don't want him to get hurt because he's not in shape.
Okay, but didn't Kerr also? Yeah, but what does not in shape mean? There's no specificity.
Not in basketball.
I'm giving you actual fucking specifics, Dan. For 7 weeks where he was out, unlike what Steve Kerr said, which is that he was working out, he was staying in shape. Steve Kerr was blowing smoke. That was the real smoke that was being blown here. The truth is, Andrew Wiggins was not working out. That's why he looked really thin in that press conference. He's now building up mass and building conditioning. But what has not been reported at all, and Kerr said it was total deception weeks ago, Wiggins was not working out. So for 7 weeks, Wiggins has not been getting ready to play at all. And you can't just throw someone for 7 weeks has not been playing suddenly.
What did I say?
I don't know. You were quoting Rick Celebrini. You interrupted me, man. That's my issue is you fucking talk a lot and talk over people. You gotta know your space,
I was the first one to talk, Sy. I didn't interrupt.
Every time. No shit. Every fucking time. You're the first one to talk. You're right.
Because Larry asked a question and I just happened to know the answer. Steve Kerr just said that he's not ready and he's relying on Celebrini. Read the quotes. It's all out there. All right,
so Danny, you said that. And you said it a couple times. Now let Sy give his answer. So go ahead.
Sy's just picking a bone he shouldn't be picking because I didn't say anything wrong.
You're rude and you fucking talk a lot.
You're the rude dick, man. Come on.
I'm what?
Come on. Let's just. It's a Friday night. It's been a long week.
You're high, Sy.
It's been a busy week in Manila. Let's just everybody just chill.
I don't appreciate being talked down to when all I did is answer the question.
I don't appreciate being interrupted, Dan. I don't appreciate you constantly espousing opinions that anyone could look up in 2 fucking seconds on the internet. I was going to give exclusive information there, but you have to fucking talk. You have this need for fucking attention.
I see.
So go ahead, man. Talk, brother. Go ahead.
Sy wanted to be the first one. I'm sorry, Cyrus.
I did not want to be the first one. It's just I don't have to be here. It's not like I'm getting paid to be here, man. If you want to take all the airtime, I have better things to fucking do in my night than listen to you, Dan. I really do. That is my issue with you. You talk a fucking lot and you provide almost nothing when you talk, except your opinions on things. I have better things to do.
It's not an opinion. I quoted.
All right. Let's
got a big problem, man.
Let's just try to maintain a little bit of civility. I know it's YouTube, and it doesn't really matter. Come on, come on. Let's not start insulting each other. There's no reason for that. Let's just get into it. Go ahead, Sy. What's your thought on why we're seeing what we're seeing?
I just explained it the entire time he was out dealing with his comforting his dad or whatever the issue was. He wasn't working out at all. So for 7 weeks, he just let his body turn into just an everyman's body's shape. It was not an NBA shape. You could quote Rick Celebrini saying he wasn't in shape, but did Rick Celebrini or Kerr, neither of them were saying how long he didn't work out for. They didn't exactly give, and not to mention Kerr just weeks ago said that he was working out. So that's a story. It's like Kerr literally just misled the public in saying Wiggins was working out. No, he wasn't. And Wiggins even admitted that himself loosely in the press conference. And then I got confirmation of that. So
let me ask you this. Are we really even talking about Wiggins making an impact in this first round series? Or, I mean, we're not just going to see him sit out tonight, sit out against the Blazers, and then flip a switch and play 35 minutes against Sacramento game one of the, I mean, the playoffs don't start until Saturday, right? Isn't it Saturday or Sunday next week? 15th, I think, of April.
It'll be Sunday.
Yeah.
Saturday,
so
sorry.
are we gonna see Wiggins play big minutes right away, or is his minutes gonna be very sparse in the first round?
Very sparse. He's gonna start. I mean, that's the one thing Kerr said today is that he's gonna be a starter, but I can't imagine his minutes being high. I mean, Frank, I would love to ask you, what do you think?
I think the Warriors have a lot of depth, so it's gonna be based on how well he plays. If he goes out there that he's contributing, then Kerr keep him out there. If he's not, then he has other guys on the bench he can put in. Defensively, I mean, because that's instinct and reactionary tools that you're using, I think he can go out and make a contribution on defense relatively quickly. Offense is really about timing. So we don't know what his timing is going to look like. He hasn't played basketball in a long period of time. He was never a great free throw shooter. He's not really a great perimeter shooter. He has really good defensive instincts. So I think that if it's 15 minutes, if it's 20 minutes, wherever it is, he still should be able to contribute on defense. But offense, I think, is anybody's guess.
So one of the questions that I saw in here, GTC Real says whole different team with two-way Wiggs in the lineup. There's no question about that. He's one of the very few guys they have that's in the prime of his career. What do you think is going to be the plan of attack, guys, for Sacramento? I mean, if it's Warriors-Kings first round, and it looks like it's going that way, what do you think? How is Golden State going to go attack Sacramento? Is there a spot that you think that the Warriors have a favorable matchup or a certain way they're going to go about trying to exploit Sacramento? Sacramento's scoring, the highest scoring team in the league. They don't play a lot of defense. Their offense in the break fuels everything with Fox with the ball in his hands. If Golden State has a wrinkle or two for Sacramento, what will it be?
It's hard to say. What I would do is I want to match Looney's minutes with Sabonis. That's the first thing that comes to mind with me. I want to play kind of that matchup game. Obviously Draymond can hold his own against Sabonis, but I really think Looney can make things difficult on Sabonis. We know how crafty of a finisher Sabonis is. If he gets the ball in the paint, he's got a good touch down low. So one of the matchups that I'll be watching is Looney Sabonis.
Cy, what do you think? Where do they attack Sacramento? Because Sacramento is never been in this situation before, but they're not a good defensive team. I mean, so and yet they're like a bowling ball rolling downhill offensively. Is Sacramento going to get out on the break and score a bunch of points and beat Golden State with a ton of energy? But more importantly, I guess the big question is on the offensive end, where do you think Golden State attacks the Kings?
Well, one stat that Steve Kerr subtly revealed the other day, and it was in it was a one-on-one interview. I don't even know if it's been published yet, but Kerr revealed. No one has reported this, and this is a critique on the Warriors beat in general, who just hasn't reported a lot of things. The Warriors are the worst team in the NBA in terms of their full court offense. In terms of they're dead last. And that's been a lot of the problem with their defense. And it really does correlate. So I think focusing on themselves is going to be a vitally important thing. And the fact that they're coming together at the right time, as Frank said, is brilliant. But the Kings are very here's the bottom line. Sacramento has three guys that can kill you, right? De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Herter. You shut those guys down, they're not going to beat you. And those three are great players, but those three have also, for most of this regular season, have been running roughshod on a lot of teams that have their own very severe defensive issues. Most teams do not have someone who can slow down Sabonis or Fox. And if they're trying to, then Herter's just wide open bombing threes. The Warriors have so many options defensively, especially with Wiggins coming back, whether it's Gary Payton II guarding Fox, whether it's Draymond Green guarding Sabonis, whether it's, DiVincenzo or Wiggins taking their turns. You're not going to worry about Harrison Barnes knocking you out of a 7-game series shooting 3-pointers, right? I mean, that's just not, you're not going to worry about that. You're not going to worry about Keegan Murray, a rookie, rising up in the first round and overtaking you. So it's going to come down to De'Aaron Fox. It's going to come down to Dante Sabonis, two players who are going to get massive recognition this offseason in terms of potential second team, third team, all NBA recognition. They're going to get some MVP votes. And they should, because the Kings are the third seed in the West. But when it comes to the playoffs, where you got to play one team over and over again, and they know you, the Warriors are just going to focus their defense entirely on those three players. And I don't think the Kings are going to have an answer for that. I know Malik Monk might light it up here and there, but I don't know. Do you think they will? I mean, I don't see Keegan Murray, a rookie, sliding it up. I've never seen a rookie outside of Magic Johnson ever, do amazing things in the postseason. I don't think Keegan Murray is going to be the first. And yeah, so for me, I think it's just going to be the Warriors are figuring things out. Just because, again, offensively, the fast break is a staple of theirs, and they're dead last this year. And they're finally figuring that part of their offense out. And you're also seeing that correlate to their defense. Their defensive rating is I think 11th now. So they're improving defensively. Everything's turning around, man. As Frank said, I think the timing is perfect for what they're doing. And I'm feeling good with you, Larry, for the first round.
11 of 12 games, by the way, just so you know, I note on this one, Keegan Murray has gone double figures in 11 of 12. So he brings some momentum, no doubt, into this series. Only tonight, and tonight probably didn't even count, really. Only outside of tonight, you got to go back to the Minnesota game on March 27th. Other than that, he's been double figures since basically St. Patrick's Day. I mean, he just is double figures every night. He's playing some of the best ball of his career. Who do you think Kerr and the Warriors stick Peyton on? Is he a guy that's going to be on Fox? Is he going to be a guy they're going to utilize on Monk? Can you put him on Herter? How do you see them utilizing GP2? Because GP2 is such a suffocating, what a difference-making defender he potentially is, but he's not every matchup is suited for him. Who's Kerr going to have GP2 on?
Well, what I was going to say is, spend all this time on Sacramento, there's still a strong likelihood they could
be Phoenix.
They could play Phoenix.
If they lose to Portland, and
Portland and Clippers throw the game against Phoenix to take the 6th spot, it works out that way. I don't know how Clippers have control over, tying with the Lakers and all that stuff, though. But I know there's a possibility that the Warriors 5th. And so we could talk about the Kings all night, but, it may not work out that way. But to answer your question with Peyton, if they did face the Kings, I could see him locking up Herter just because of, locking that 3-point shot down, because I don't know if he's suited for Fox, if he's quick enough to, Fox is a guy that can blow by you. And I mean, GP2's great defender, but that may not be his greatest strength. He's a little bit more, if he gets too physical, he can get into.
Then who are you putting on him, Dan? Who are you putting on him?
On
Fox.
I think GP2 is probably the best fit, but I see him also already Herter just to, at times.
Danny, your mic is cutting in and out.
Is it? I'm not sure if it's my hand. I'm holding my phone because I'm all packed up. I got to get going here shortly. I got to catch a bus to get to the airport. But I would say that it's probably Fox and DiVincenzo switching off on them. Maybe some Curry too, but you don't want to get Curry in foul trouble. But Curry's going to have to start out with them, I would imagine, right? Because GP2 is not going to start.
I don't think so. I think they'll probably. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they put Wiggins on him or Clay. I don't think they're going to put Steph on him. I don't think so. I think Steph will be on Herter. I might be wrong, but I think that's going to happen.
GTC Real says, is Poole's offensive gifts enough to outweigh his lack of floor IQ and defensive prowess? I'd much rather have DiVincenzo light the bong. This is a tough one because Poole, when he's going good, is really an explosive player that gives you a lot on the offensive end, but you're trading it for what he gives away on the defensive end. And, it's a constant question. It's a nightly question, I should say. Brian Iglesias says, what's the X factor for the Warriors heading into the playoffs? What are the options here? So Danny said that they may not play Sacramento. Is it 5 or 6 for Golden State? Cy, what are the options? How many different options are there for Golden State?
In terms of like the seeding, like where they're
far as like who they may play, what seeding they're going to get, and who they may match up with in round 1.
So the Clippers have 2 games remaining. Everyone else has 1, or most other teams have 1.
Clippers play Portland and then at Phoenix.
Yeah, correct. And so the Clippers they're in a weird position where if they lose tomorrow and then win Sunday, they're going to get the 6 seed, and then the Warriors, if they win out, will get the 5 seed. So the question is, will the Clippers be that risky and, actually try, like, intentionally lose a game and then go into Sunday's game against Phoenix just thinking they're going to cakewalk it and then get the 5 or get the 6. So that's where if the Warriors win out, they're guaranteed at least a 6. They'll get the 5 seed if the Clippers do that, if they go 1-1. The Lakers basically right now, I think they sit at 7, Pelicans are at 8. And I think that's how it's going to hold up if everyone just wins out. But the Clippers game tomorrow is very interesting just because of, the fact that if they lose, I mean, it's going to suck for the Warriors, because the Warriors then will have the 5 seed. And again, the path for the Warriors changes so fast. There's a lot of reasons why 6 is beneficial to them. It's not just the Kings and the fact that the Kings are much more inexperienced than the Suns and thus being the favorable matchup. That and the fact that, as Draymond Green said, it's just a bus ride. You're not getting on flights. It's such a game changer in terms of your body healing. They're clearly an older team, and little variables like that, matter. They affect the game. They affect the team and individuals. But if you get the Kings in the first round as a 6 seed, you're also getting the Grizzlies in the second round, most likely, a team you've already beaten, a team you have their number, a team that, all you need is a split in Memphis, and then, you got the series. And then by that point, if you play Denver in the final round, Larry, you've been saying, like, Denver is that big threat, right? And understand
they just got so many guys in their prime, and they've got so many guys playing at a really high level.
But let me ask you this, though. Like, right now, it doesn't look good, right? Thinking about the Warriors and the Nuggets playing each other in the playoffs at this present time, in this moment, no, it sounds intimidating. It sounds a little concerning. But if you're talking about a Warriors team that's just knocked off the Kings, that's just knocked off the Grizzlies, Wiggins is in shape by this point. That team, I'm feeling much better about playing the Denver Nuggets than this iteration of the Warriors, right? So you're getting the Kings, you're getting the Grizzlies, and you're getting the Nuggets with your team being cohesive, having its rhythm, hopefully being healthy and just in prime shape and ready to go. And your odds are increased to beat the Nuggets at that point. Whereas if you're the 5 seed, you're playing the Suns. Who the hell knows what happens in that series? Devin Booker is the one that scares the shit out of me, even more so than Durant. I think the Warriors have figured Durant out. They played him before in the playoffs. They've beaten him. This is an older version of Durant. He's no spring chicken himself. But, dude, Devin Booker scares the shit out of me, man. I do not want to play him in the opening round. I don't like that. But let's say you beat Phoenix. Then now you have Denver in the second round instead of the final round, right? So you're facing them sooner. And you somehow get through Denver. Whoever you got to play next, could be the Clippers, could be the Lakers. It's just such a night and day path for the Warriors between being the 6 seed and the 5 seed. So tomorrow, that Clippers Trailblazers game is going to be huge because I think the picture will be much more clear at that point in terms of where the Warriors are going to be. If the Clippers lose that game tomorrow, be prepared for the Warriors to be the 5 seed, and that'll be interesting.
Suppose they win and then they have Phoenix on Sunday. What do you think about that then? I mean, you think the Clippers?
The Clippers.
Yeah. What do you think, Si, about that?
So then at that point, I think then it just simply, I think if the Clippers lose, then I think the Lakers move up. Or let me do my research before I answer that question. I don't have that. Let me take a second look just real fast before I answer that. Sorry, I'll do that right now.
So John Dickinson, my good friend John Dickinson, JD, did a whole breakdown on this, and I'm going to give it to you guys real quick here. Basically, what he's saying, JD, he says Warriors go 2-0, Clippers go 2-0, equals the Warriors get the 6th seed. Warriors go 2-0, Clippers lose 1, the Warriors are the 5 seed. Warriors go 1-1. Clippers, Lakers, and Pelicans go 2-0. Then it's the 8th seed. Golden State goes 1-1. Clippers go 1-1. New Orleans and the Lakers both go 2-0. It's the 8th seed. So there's a bunch of different options here. I mean, it looks like they could be 6, 7, 8, or 5. 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Yeah. They just got to win then. But
what I'm trying to figure out, because what Frank is asking, and it's a valid point, is like, what if the Clippers win tomorrow's game, but then they lose the final game at Phoenix? And I think, but that's what I'm trying to confirm, is if that happens, the Lakers can supersede the Clippers, and then the Clippers would fall to 7, and then they'd have to go into the play-in. Right. And that's a scenario they don't want. But let me just confirm that real fast. That's what I'm trying to figure out here real quick. But yeah, sorry.
I mean, there's just so many scenarios here. I'm looking at this. I mean, I'm going to hold this up just so you can see. JD put this thing together. Look how ridiculously. I mean, that is a ton of different options. I mean, that's a lot of options, is it not? I mean, that's tons of options.
So on this whole thing, I heard you, Larry, and Damon talking the other day about Wiggins. And Damon brought up a good point, and I think he's correct. We talked about how, Si, you said Kerr didn't tell the truth that Wiggins was working out. I mean, do we really believe him that it was just his father? Because that's pretty admirable just to say, hey, my dad's going through something and I'm taking care of him. Why would you hide that? Why would you hide the fact that?
Well, yeah,
he's a private guy. He's a private person.
It does make you wonder about that, though, because it makes you wonder. It seems like, well, what was so sensitive about that you could not reveal that or is there something else going on? And this is the public excuse. I don't know. I can't judge it. I have no sources. Si, you're locked on. What do you make of Wiggins' story, and do you find it odd that he didn't come out? I mean, I don't think anybody would have pushed back if he said, "Hey, look, man, my father's ill, and I'm going to be with him." The timing of it and Damon's whole argument was like, "Hey, if that was really the issue, then why wouldn't he just be forthcoming with that information up front? What's so secretive? And then we've been scolded verbally by Draymond Green. You guys don't know what he's. If it's just his father is ill, I don't understand what's the big secret or why that couldn't have been expressed. Or I think the fan base would have given him a wide berth.
Well, I don't want to say
it
it was.
Am I wrong by that?
I don't want to use the word just for his father being ill. I mean, because we don't know what the whole situation is there. I mean, we don't know if he was like. We have no idea. I don't know if it's cancer. I don't know if it's old age. Like, we don't know what, if he got shot. Right. I have no idea what's going on there. So there is a lot of mystery in terms of what happened to his dad or what's going on with his dad. All we do know, in all honesty, is that it was a family matter. And the Warriors actually, they were telling me that they were disappointed that the media and people were not picking up on the fact that early on they kept saying that it was a family matter. Like, it had to do with his family, and that's what he had to leave for. What we do know is what Shams Charania reported, and he reported this for The Athletic. He's been wrong before, but it's rare, and he reported this as fact. So, which is that this had to do with his dad. And I think that got confirmed by one or two other sources. Beyond that, like Andrew Wiggins as an individual is weird. He's not, by definition, he does not follow normal convections of, like how people normally operate in terms of their privacy. He's very private. Like he doesn't like anyone knowing anything about him. Like whatever his life is outside of basketball, he prefers it that way. He's just, he is
He's
not
intensely private.
He's in like overboard, yeah, like extremely. And so that's how he rolls. And so that's why, like when I first heard about this, like to me, it didn't seem out of the norm that like he asked for this. Who knows how he approached the Warriors about it? He could have just gone up to him and been like, "Look, man, like and he is really close with his dad. Like that is confirmed. Like him and his dad have a very close relationship. So like who knows? He probably went to the team and maybe was crying. I mean, I don't know, man. It was just like, dude, this is killing me. My dad's dying. I need to be with him. And my guess is Kerr and Bob Myers, they're not assholes, and they probably were like, you go do what you got to do, and they gave him the leeway, and that's probably just where it's been. And they've never, I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, I mean, we're all guessing, but yeah, I mean, it that does make sense if indeed there was some life and death situation. Also, just Kerr just seems like he's got such perspective. I know you've been critical of Kerr, but I think it's easy to say that Kerr definitely understands what this is. It's basketball, and he's not going to confuse basketball and life. So, I think maybe
and
that's
cool Kerr, by the way. But my only issue with Kerr this year was the two-way players, man. I did not see Lamb today. I didn't see dude. I love Kerr, dude. Me and Kerr are all good now, dude. It's like my grief is over.
One report that was out there, we all probably heard about it, that I can't confirm it, but I have heard from a source that knows a source that said that is what was happening, and he was just too depressed. I mean, his life was basically thrown upside down, and he couldn't do anything, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, the whole father thing to me doesn't make sense, because that's a very honorable thing to say. My dad is very ill, and I don't know how long it's going to be, but he's my priority, and I'm taking, I got to be there. But to keep it a secret, it doesn't smell right to me, and I kind of think maybe what the other thing happened may have been because I heard it from somebody who had some inside information. So,
well, let me say this though. I mean, if it's not what the report says it is, at this point he's back. I don't really know if it matters at this point.
Right. It's like water under the bridge.
Yeah. I mean, it's
true. I think it is water under the bridge at this point, but it does go to show that, these guys are human beings, and if their life gets, just topsy-turvy, just thrown for a, whatever, it can happen to any of us. Your life, I can understand why, if he didn't work out and he wasn't so depressed and he had to stay out for 2 months just to get his mental psyche back. The whole thing with the father thing, the Warriors have been a weird year. It's been a weird year from the Draymond Poole thing to the way he's played the bench to just a lot of weird secretive stuff. Just seems, I don't know.
It almost is as if there is some other backstory that we are not privy to, and it just keeps coming up, and we're getting little glimpses.
I disagree. A backstory? I mean, they gave us
a backstory. What I mean is just that there's more.
I don't know
going on than meets the eye.
There's something going on with his dad,
But I mean, I'm not talking about that. I wasn't talking about that, Baller. I was talking more about like. There's more than meets the eye on some.
Speculating on this, they gave us the reason. Like to me, I mean that I'm taking that wholeheartedly. Like I don't think it's anything else. I mean, my pops passed a couple years ago. Suddenly, I would have given anything to get an extra couple months with him if I knew that was coming. So to be even speculate and say, oh no, I think it's something else, I think is just doing. So it's a disservice. I'm taking it. Hey, Wiggins is back. Let's move forward. I'm happy Andrew's back because now I think the Golden State Warriors got legitimate title chances.
He's a significant player for them. I mean, if he plays in these playoffs the way he played in last year's playoffs, you could make an argument he's as valuable as any non-Steph Curry player on the roster. Fozzie says, "Here's a donation. Where's Rye?" I traded some texts with Rye. He's obviously not with us right now, and I don't know when he will. He's got a standing invite to join us anytime he wants, but he says he's doing okay, and so we definitely will hear from Rye. Not tonight, but we definitely will hear from Rye. Sean,
by the way, really quick,
go ahead.
A quick update on the Clippers tiebreaker scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where it could get risky for the Clippers. So if it ends up being a 3-way tie between the Clippers, Lakers, and Pelicans, which is what could happen, if
the Clippers are the 5 seed, the Lakers are the 6, New Orleans would be the 7, and the Warriors would be the 8.
No. If the Warriors win out, they'll have a 1-game lead over the Clippers and everyone else. Like the Clippers have to win just to stay ahead of the Warriors, basically. But because if they fall into a 3-way tie with the Lakers and the Pelicans, which is very possible. So let's say the Clippers split their last 2 games, and it ends up being all 3 teams are 43 and 39. The Lakers will pass them up. And I think the Clippers dropped to 7 or 8 at that point. I saw one time. Wow. So anyways, the point is,
say that again. Say that again. If there's a 3-way tie between what teams?
Clippers, Lakers, and Pelicans.
Okay, 3-way tie with Clippers, Lakers, and Pelicans. Clippers would be the 5, Lakers would be the 6, New Orleans would be the 7. Warriors would be the 8.
No, Warriors would be 5 because the Warriors have 38 losses. Those 3 teams would have 39. So the 39 loss teams would be a 3-way tie. The Clippers would get the short end of that stick and would fall to 7.
Let me say this though.
That's their incentive for not losing. And that's why they don't want to necessarily risk like losing tomorrow and then winning Sunday or vice versa, because the Pelicans are also in the mix. And when it becomes a 3-way tie, I think then at that point they're looking at conference records, and the Pelicans have a much better conference record than the Clippers, and so the Clippers would fall as a result of that.
Okay, that's what I needed.
I'm going to have to run here because I got to get going, but I'll say this last thing. Minnesota plays the Pelicans the last game of the season in Minnesota, and that game may determine the Timberwolves have a chance to tie the Pelicans, and they may be playing. I don't know if they have the tiebreaker, but that might be for the 9-10, and Minnesota may be wanting to have the home game, the first game. So that could have a wrinkle in this, what Sai's talking about with the 3 teams tie-in. So, because one more loss in Minnesota's not in that 3-way anymore.
Danny, safe travels. We'll talk to you soon.
Safe travels. Yeah, it's side. Thank you, because I was wondering, because I know that the Clippers will beat the Lakers 11 straight times. So I would assume that they would have the advantage over the Lakers. But as you stated, it might be with conference records or league records and stuff like that. So I don't really know. So
that's what it comes down to. So for the Clippers, it's just, I don't think it would be worth playing that kind of gamble. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's mainly because they own the tiebreaker over the Lakers, so they're not worried about the Lakers. And I think they actually own the tiebreaker in terms of head-to-head over the Pelicans, so they're not worried about like a head-to-head with those teams. But if it becomes a 3-way, then the head-to-heads are out the window. So it goes, I think, straight to conference record at that point. Right. And the Pelicans actually have the best conference record, so the Pelicans will become the 6th seed, and then I think the Lakers will be 7, Clippers will be 8. I think that's how it would go down. What I do know for certain is that the Clippers would have to be in the play-in now. So that's their incentive, man. It is crazy. It's this interesting this late, dude. It's fascinating.
Sean Shepard says, "Come on, guys, can't we just get along? What's up, baller? Sack will be cupping D's nuts. Do you guys think Kerr is at burnout phase? He looks fried. Kyle's blind spot and kryptonite evaluating quarterbacks. Oh, look at that, Sean's getting it all in there. You get nothing on Yaz and the Giants today? I mean, you might as well throw everything in there. Anything on the Masters? One thing you mentioned, the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Zion Williamson, is not likely to play in the play-in tournament. He's still rehabbing his hamstring injury. He's appeared, guys, in only 29 games. He's been out since January with this hamstring injury. He's played only 114 games over his 4-year NBA career. I mean, I love this guy coming out, and I thought, man, he's going to have a monster season. But just looking at him, when I see the shots of him, I think it's pretty obvious that he's not really serious yet about leaning out and getting to that weight. And I think it's probably smart that he doesn't hit the floor, because I think he'd probably blow out a knee or an Achilles, or he's just carrying a lot of weight. And I don't know how you guys feel about Zion. We talk about the Warriors a lot here. We don't talk a lot about the other teams in the league, but I'm a huge Zion fan, and I just feel like his career is kind of hanging in the balance right now. What do you guys think of Zion? What's going to be his solution? I mean, it doesn't sound like he's going to be a factor at all if the Pelicans make the playoffs. It sounds like they may be getting close to moving him. They're probably getting tired of his physical situation. What do you guys make of it? I mean, he's a naturally bigger guy. This guy played at 280 pounds at Duke. So now, I mean, I bet you he's $3 bills, and
he gained weight again.
Why is he not leaning out and taking his career seriously? What do you guys make? Are they going to? You saw the celebration. We all saw it when they landed him in the lottery. It was like England scored a goal in the World Cup. You know what I mean? In their room, people were going crazy, and he hasn't fulfilled that potential, and now he can't get on the floor. Is he damaged goods? Are they going to move him? Give me your prediction on what's down the road for Zion for just a second, and before we keep going on the playoffs. What is your guys' feeling on him?
It's been sad to see. It's been sad to see, because I'm a fan of watching exciting basketball players, and that's exactly what Zion is. I mean, he's just freakishly athletic at his size. He's so gifted as an athlete, and just the fact that we haven't gotten to see it, is just depriving us of what I thought was going to be a superstar in this league. So, Zion, they need to work it out. I think naturally his body just kind of puts on weight easily, and maybe it's hard for him to get it, shed some of this extra weight you feel like he should. But I'm optimistic. I think he's going to figure it out, man. I think it's going to figure it out. Might not be this year, and I'm just trying to be optimistic because I think he's just such a talented player.
Oh, he's
such
incredible.
An elite athlete, just flying above the rim, blocking shots, snatching rebounds, where I hope Zion can get back.
You know what? This is not the first time I've seen something like this. I actually played against Pearl Washington in high school. And Pearl Washington, the great Syracuse player, and
he had extra pounds.
Oh my God! And I mean, he was literally like 6'3", about 205, 210 in high school, and I mean, he ruined his NBA career once he got hurt. He hurt his knee, and he was never able to manage his weight, and that was unfortunate. With regards to Zion. I have empathy for him. I don't feel sorry for him. I have empathy for him because I want to see him reach his full potential. But it's really about his team. Everybody who is eating off of him has to play a role in approaching his occupation what it is. It is his job. It is his career. And to put the onus simply on the organization to pay him millions of dollars and utilize their facilities. No, that's a mindset. This is why Kobe was upset with Shaq, because and Shaq is one of the greatest players of all time. Zion has to take a mature approach to his career.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Manage his nutrients, his calories, and just become disciplined. Now, I would love to see him in San Antonio. I mean, New Orleans might not be the place for him. I think that there are other organizations that exhibit tremendous discipline. Miami is another one, you know. But I don't know if it's going to happen there because the structure doesn't appear to be there for somebody who doesn't appear to be able to do it on his own. You know, so I mean, he might have to be moved.
It's unbelievable because
It is.
I mean, this was like one of the superstars in the league. I think most people thought, man, he's an immovable piece, but now it just seems like he's damaged goods. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
like,
that I would want to move. I don't know that I would want to trade for him unless I found out, that he was really taking his career and his. I mean, his weight is.
I'd take the gamble. I would take the gamble.
I would
Obviously,
too,
it depends
but
if
what
it's
you're
like
trading,
a late
of course.
one. I mean, in the NBA, late ones, they're it's not the same as a late one in the NFL. So I would definitely trade a late one to acquire Zion.
A late one? I mean, the guy's
or a mid one. I'd trade a mid one.
No. You got to trade a player. This guy averages 25 points a game.
Yeah,
you got to trade
a couple players.
You would have to trade a whole lot.
It sounds like Larry was ready to give him away.
No, I'm saying that his career is hanging in the balance, but in a trade, I think first of all, he makes a good grip of cash, so the salary cap has to work. But I just get the feeling that he's going to be moved this offseason.
Well,
I don't know.
He's actually cheap. His extension doesn't kick in until next year. Or at least,
but isn't can you move those guys when they're? Because I thought when your extension doesn't kick in that you couldn't move those guys without some. I thought there was some stipulation,
and it starts next year, so ignore that part of it. But no, look, he's a transcendent player, man. Like, this is a guy who, when he plays, like Rick and I did a show once where we just made a price of admission list, right? We did a top 10 list of who you would spend your hard-earned money on just to watch play, right? And Zion was number one for both of us. Like, he's someone that if he's on TV, I mean, if you go to a game and they're playing the Pelicans and he's active, you want to see this dude play. He's an anomaly. He's a freak of nature. For a guy 6'6" to have those hops, to have that strength, I mean, like, he's a guy that could play point guard or center easily. Like, it's crazy.
He's got 40-inch vert at 290 pounds.
Dude, and it's a travesty that he's getting injured this much, man. I think it deprives all of us, in all honesty. Like, if you love basketball, it deprives all of us. Like, because this guy, you're right, Frank, I don't know if him going to another team is what's necessary. I feel like if Rick Celebrini was, like overseeing his recovery and his daily, habits, maybe he would be playing right now,
I agree. Plus the environment, plus the teammates. It's like, you know what? There's a level of accountability that you have when Draymond Green is your teammate. When Klay Thompson, when Stephen Curry is your teammate, there is a level of Andre Iguodala. That's why he's still there. I'm saying, so it's not by mistake that organizations distinguish themselves from their peers. I mean, I
do. Agreed.
So get him the help he needs, or trade him and get something back in return. I mean, you got a couple of players. I mean, Brandon Ingram's a superstar. Then get somebody to play along with him.
Would you guys trade Jordan Poole for him? Jordan Poole in the first round?
Hell yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah,
hell
seriously.
Yeah.
Done. Driving him to the airport right now.
I was thinking about trading Jordan Poole for Vasilija Micic. Sai, you know my boy Vasilija Micic.
I don't know who that is.
It's my boy. This guy he's probably the best basketball player in the world who's never played in the NBA. He's
really
been the EuroLeague MVP. Yeah, EuroLeague MVP.
What is he? A power forward?
No, he's a guard. He's a combo guard. That's why, right now Oklahoma City owns his rights, and I've ran some thoughts through my head. Hey, you trade Poole for Micic, bring over the veteran EuroLeague MVP. He's almost like a souped up Goran Dragic. It's kind of that.
I'll tell you,
guard.
The guy that I love, and I just every time I watch him, I think to myself, man, too bad the Warriors wound up with Wiseman and not this guy. Is Alperen Sengun, for Houston. It's like
He's
that
good.
guy was there.
No, that wasn't that draft though, was it? I thought Sengun was the Kuminga draft.
I think he was the next draft, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying they had a pick. I think they
For Moody.
I don't know.
I think you're thinking of for Moody, like that because
Yeah.
he was just
Sengun. I love Sengun's back to the basket game. I love the drop steps and the footwork, and he really knows how to play. And the guy, I mean, I think on this team, the one thing about the Warriors, they got so many high IQ players. You better know how to freaking play basketball, or you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
And a guy
You
like
called that, by the
Sengun
way.
really knows how to play, man. He
You
knows how to
called
play.
that draft. I remember you were totally raving about that, and you're right, dude. He's going to be a player. He's going to be. I think he's going to be.
He's got like 80s post moves, which we don't. It's like you don't see. By the way, Youth Baseball Highlight says here's $1.99. It says free senior softball games. All right, senior softball games got liquored up and got started talking too much mess, and so I blocked him. And now he's using his intermediaries to beg his way back in. Do we allow senior softball games back in? We've all run our mouth from time to time. This happens to me more than anybody because to me, it's like if you run your mouth, that's fine. But if I don't like it, I block you. You know what I mean? And then people want to but then we have good content here. So then people want to get back in. So I can't tell you the number of times, whether it be on the radio, Twitter, somebody's called up and been like, yeah, Krug, I got a little drunk one night and, I said some shit I shouldn't have said and it's my fault and you blocked me but can I come back in the pool? And then since I don't really care, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll put you back in the pool. Now I've got to do this after the show. So I will be re-adding senior softball games and probably anybody else who got drunk. But let me just say it. You get drunk and you talk a big mess, you're gonna get blocked. You know what I mean? And I'll unblock you in fair time. But I mean, I'm not. It's not like a priority. I'm not sitting there going, God, I can't go to sleep tonight without getting senior softball games back in the thing. I mean, don't talk shit if you can't live with it, right? I mean, Baller, you got a channel. What do you do when a bunch of people get messy?
Yeah, I got a pretty thick skin, so you got to say something pretty deep and pretty offensive to get on my bad side.
Really?
But you know what?
So I say anything. My standard is this: if you say anything that I don't think you would say to my face, you're blocked.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But I like how you approached it, though, because I am a fan of second chances. And hey,
Yeah,
you screw up
let
once,
everybody
hey,
back
put
in.
him in timeout. Give him a week or two in timeout.
Let him know
and
what
then
he's missing.
give him another chance, and then if he acts up again, then he's gone for good.
Mark Graves, don't drink and chat. Friends don't let friends drink and chat.
That's a good attitude. I just say don't like start sounding like a troll, man. Like don't make it personal. Like the moment you just start saying you make even petty attacks like, oh, like you don't know this or you're an idiot for thinking this or saying this. Like once you start veering there, man. I mean, Larry. I mean, you're hosting a live show, right? And you can't like when they start going there, it can be distracting. And
I just don't got time for it. I just can't. I
Yeah,
don't got.
exactly.
You know what? You're all up in your feelings, and you have too many Zimas or whatever the hell you're drinking. You know what? So what? You know, I mean, I'm gonna block now. I'll unblock, but I'm gonna do it when I want to do it.
Yeah, I don't block if it's a disagreement over like I think you're an idiot for or if like don't call me a name first of all, but like if you disagree with me about Anthony Lamb, like I don't block people for that. But the moment you start saying you're a fucking idiot or you don't know shit, fuck you goddamn Jordan, man. Like, why do I want to hear that shit? And you're right; they would never say that shit to your face. It's just
never.
Behind a camera, phone, behind a computer. It's a lot easier, especially when you're anonymous too. So
yeah, it's what can I say? Brown. We got this one. He says Bouncer says side blocks too.
Again, if you make it personal,
Daniel says Krug, I'm sorry, I've got nowhere else to go. What can I say? Hey, let me just do this because we got close to 250 people hanging in the room. It's Friday night.
Nice.
All these guys are here. One of the things that came out in our little argument back and forth is the truth, which is nobody's really getting paid to be here. So the reason that I invite you guys here is because I value what you have to say, but I also want to help you guys get your stuff going. Baller's got his own channel. Cy's got his own Locked On show. Frank's got his Twitter, and we'll someday have the dungeon, rolling again. So before we do anything more, let's throw that out for everybody. Bottom of when you're looking at Baller right there, you're seeing his YouTube handle, Bay Area Baller 18. I want everybody who's in the chat who's not signed up to Bay Area Baller 18 to just take it 30 seconds, dial it up, hit subscribe, hit like and subscribe, and help
Do it.
Baller.
Do it.
Everybody sign
I've
up.
been
Sign up for
talking a lot
Baller's
of
channel.
ball. 49ers. I just put out a.
Dude, you put out great content, dude. I really love your content.
Yeah.
Tell people what you put out.
He's here for a reason.
Top 5 tight ends in the upcoming NFL draft. I just put out a YouTube short on it, and I plan on being more consistent, Larry. I'm going to be going Monday, Wednesday, Friday here pretty soon, ramping up and getting more consistent 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you like sports, you want to talk some Bay Area ball with the Baller. Hey, I might be mixing in some Giants too. I've been watching these San Francisco Giants, fellas, and the offense is hitting bombs. They're striking out a lot. They're at the top of the league in strike, but they're also leading the league in home runs. The pitching staff has been, it's been okay, but hey, we're talking a lot of ball. Giants, Warriors, 49ers primarily over on my channel. If you guys want to subscribe, that'd be clutch.
Bay Area Baller 18. And Baller, we're going to have to do a live stream talking draft here between now and the 27th. That's when the draft starts. Cy's got Locked On Warriors. Cy, how difficult
And the
is
Rick
it?
Barry Show.
And the Rick Barry Show. But tell people how they can go lock on with you. You had Kylan on tonight, right, after the game. How if somebody wants to, maybe they're a YouTube fan, but they don't know exactly the ins and outs of signing up for Locked On. What's the process?
So it's just Locked On Warriors. And we've been, I should mention this more often, that the more subscribers we get, the more involved Kylan is with the show. I know everyone loves her. I love her. I personally picked her, selected her for a very good reason. I mean, she's talented and fortunately, our chemistry is amazing. So if we hit 8,000 subscribers, she will be a 3-day-a-week host with me. If we get to 10,000, 4 days a week, and if we hit 12,000, her and I are 50-50. And that's the goal. So please subscribe, especially if you want Kylan to be more involved. Frank, we got to get you on soon. Baller, we got to get you on soon. Summer is when I'm desperate, when the guest thing is full time. So I love bringing fresh faces and perspectives. So Locked On Warriors is the show. And then the Rick Barry Show I want to hype up as well, because Rick and I host a show of, say, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. And Rick he is one of the most brilliant basketball minds on the planet. He just turned 79, but if you hear him, you would never think that or guess it. And he's still incredibly sharp. I mean, dude, the guy's got the DNA, the progeny of gods. I mean, the 5 sons who have all played professional basketball. It's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible. So the Rick Barry Show, please subscribe to that. It's Rick Barry's House on YouTube is the channel there, if you don't mind subscribing. And then last thing, I hate when my emotions get the best of me, and it did happen with Dan. I want to say this, man. Larry, your program in a lot of ways is sometimes like a family, where things, like any organization, things sometimes are going on behind the scenes as well, and things sometimes spill over. And so Dan there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'll just leave it at that occasionally sometimes have unfortunately spilled over here. I apologize for that. I don't mean to interrupt your show in the process doing that. I don't regret it because I don't appreciate the interruptions, and I think sometimes I do just love to hear himself talk, and I've obviously said it to his face already, but I don't mean to interrupt your show because of him, man. So sorry about that.
Dude, to never apologize. You know what? Everybody's a big boy, and you know what? It's somewhat entertaining. It got a little awkward tonight, but whatever. Who gives a fuck? Okay, Frank. Obviously Frank and I go way back, but Frank's getting the dungeon going. But right now, Frank, just at Big Frank Red on Twitter. Everybody follow Frank. I retweeted a couple of your tweets this week. Yeah. You're engaged on Bay Area sports, and you got great opinions. So Big Frank Red on Twitter. But is there anywhere else, Frank, you want to drive the audience to?
No, I mean, Twitter is a writing tool, and I love to write. That's one of my passions. So, and I think on Twitter, it gives me the room to kind of touch on a lot of different things. I'll talk about women's basketball. I'll do movie critiques and I'll hone in on like the non-topic topics on sports. That's what I like to talk about. I'm getting excited because tomorrow I'm actually going in the studio and recording my theme song. So we
Nice.
could, yeah.
Ooh.
So we're
I
getting a little
love that
closer.
last song we played. We played
I like your
one
music,
of Frank's
man.
jams,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just remember that it was really motivation. It put me in a good mood.
Well,
Well,
the
I appreciate
lyrics,
it.
So I'm looking
yeah,
forward to it.
the
Yeah.
lyrics on how you make me feel is
Right.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that, Frank? I mean, how long did that take to put together? I know not laying it down with the woman that you collaborated with, but just actually you saying going from, hey, it's here to paper to music to even the process. How long did that take you?
I'm
Is it
pretty
a day? Is it a
meticulous.
month? Is it weeks?
Yeah,
Years?
I
What
mean,
are we talking about?
that song took about a couple of weeks because there's a lot of rewriting going on. You kind of put your ideas down, and then you have to be like a good judge of your own work. Sometimes you write things and you go, that's not great. So I edit my stuff, and then once I know that I'm communicating what I want to say, then it's time to start practicing and recording. But I'm not a real raunchy type of artist. I'm an artist that really um, feels that I can express myself without like a whole lot of cursing and horrible language. It's just not. I mean, I didn't grow up that way, so that's not what I do. Um, and I have writing skills. I mean, Larry, listen, dude. I mean, you're a football scout. You're a baseball aficionado, and you know your basketball. I mean, we've been doing this stuff for a long period of time. Cy, I've learned a lot from you, Baller. I'm excited about your career, but I'm serious about what I do. I'm a great writer, and hopefully at some point, you might even hear one of my songs from like a major artist or something like that because writing is a particular skill. Everybody can't do that. I realize I can do it. I love making music. I love going in the studio. So
Is it more gratifying to be on the be it's your voice and you're
right.
singing, or is it more gratifying if you put together, as you said, you're a writer, you write a song and maybe somebody takes it and becomes a huge hit? Well, if I gave you the choice, you can either be on it yourself or you can write it and have some huge megastar turn it into some massive hit. What would you
Depends.
prefer?
Well, I would prefer to do it myself because I love performing, but depends upon the artist and it depends upon the check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, like one artist I would love to work with is Miley Cyrus.
Really?
I mean, listen, man.
Wow, I never would have guessed that, Frank.
Yeah.
Listen.
Disney Channel,
People,
Miley Cyrus?
well, Miley Cyrus, with the raspy Pat Benatar voice, people don't really understand. She is amazing. Her voice,
She's talented.
her ability to emote pain, anguish, emotion. I would love to work with her. She doesn't make bad records. That little kitty Disney stuff, that was them. Listen to the stuff that man, she's Pat Benatar.
I agree. No, I agree. I actually agree with you, man. It's like she's vastly underrated as a mature artist.
I'm a
Like,
big fan of Wrecking Ball.
What happened to her voice? But was it cigarettes? Was it fire? It's some weird story, right?
I mean, I didn't know the story, but it's created
deep,
such
man.
a
It's really
created such a raunchy uniqueness. I mean, even like Nikki. I'm sorry, what's her name?
Minaj?
No. Fleetwood Mac. What's her name? Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
Thank you. Yes, who I've
Yeah,
seen
very
live.
talented.
Yeah,
I'm saying she has some of that. So, I mean, obviously, there's a slew of artists that I would love to work with that probably wouldn't want to work with me. But I have written some stuff that I think that it'd be a pleasure to work with her because I think that we can do something.
she seems cool. She seems nice.
Now, Frank, you don't have a YouTube channel, right? But but the Dungeon we're working on getting the dungeon coming.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel.
Oh,
yeah,
you do?
your
Dungeon
music's
Show.
on there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Music's on
so
there, right?
Well, no,
So-
no. The music is no.
like
that's
right over
on-
your shoulder there, right over your shoulder. The
Yes.
Dungeon Show.
Yeah, yeah, and I did like one little practice deal, but it really hasn't started yet. My distributor TuneCore made a music channel for me where you can go and listen to my music. But the sports talk stuff is going to be totally different. It is in the Dungeon Show, and you and I have been talking, and we'll find a way to make that thing happen. But I'm getting really, really excited about it, man, because I've been able to get so much exposure, all the reps I need, and kind of learning stuff. But it's a unique show that I think people are going to dig, and I'm excited about it. So
Mark Graves says Miley Cyrus sung with Metallica. Did she collab
She's
with
still with
Metallica?
everyone, man.
she's a beast, man.
Yeah, she's huge.
She really is.
She's
An
a
absolute
deep
beast.
voice now. It's like a total like smoker, like a 60-year-old smoking, like a woman
Right.
who's been chain smoking her whole life.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus, and this is how I talk. It's
Yeah.
I
just-
kind
that's
of
how it
got
sounds.
introduced to her by having little kids, and my daughter just loved her on the Disney Channel.
Like 10 years
Right.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Changed. Yeah, very
Yeah,
different.
she's a grown woman now with a lot of pain and anguish and stories to get out.
Yeah,
you
man,
know, so-
divorces and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
sorts of shit.
Let me
Yes.
hit the suit. Let me hit the. So I don't normally do this, but I just want to say, because we've been doing this a lot during the basketball season, and I just want to thank you guys because, I could sit here after these games and just read stats and give a few opinions and this and that, but to me, the hang is what it's all about. As far
Absolutely.
as like, if we weren't here virtually, if we were sitting in a bar, I'd buy you guys all beers and be like, "Hey, man, thanks for contributing to my show." Si, maybe you and I might go outside and maybe not drink beer, but we
Or
might
both. Neither, whatever.
or both or both. But I just want all you guys to know I really appreciate your insight, your candor, your knowledge, your time. It's Friday night, and I know all three of you guys well enough to know that it's not like you don't got anything else to do. You know what I mean? All of us are very, very busy people with lots of different things, and the fact that you have made the time to join me on this channel. And to give our audience some entertainment and some analysis. I'm really looking forward to hearing your guys' analysis on the NBA playoffs. I think one of my favorite parts of the year last year was when we kind of segued from the NBA regular season to the playoffs, and we start. I mean, these games tonight, are they fun to talk? But they're fun. They're pretty fun. I watched it. I'm there. But you can hear in my analysis, I'm not really as nearly as engaged as I would be if this were a playoff game tonight. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm like Draymond Green. I can't get up for games in March. I can't get up for non-NBA playoff games to really analyze it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
And I know I'm going to have to – I'm on 95.7 the game all this week sitting in for Dibs.
Nice.
So I better dial up my Warriors heavy this week because I
I'm your
know
guy.
it's going to be
I'm your
a
guy.
lot of Warriors. And Cy helped me quite a bit when I interviewed Kerr. Just being able to hear you guys crystallize your points. And I'll freely admit, I steal a lot of that stuff. And when I had a chance to talk to Kerr, some of the best questions that Cy threw out on this show or Baller or you, Frank – I would take that, kind of repurpose it, reposition it, and throw it at Steven. Some of those questions really were great, and the audience benefited, I benefited, the station benefited, everybody benefited, everybody benefited except for you guys. So I just wanted to say, I just really appreciate how good you guys really are, and personally, I don't think there is a better show. NBC Sports Bay Area, 95.7 The Game, KNBR. I don't think there's any spot there that you're going to get better Warrior analysis than us chopping it up after a playoff game. So I'm really looking forward to having you guys.
That's a very fair thing to say. I would agree with that 100%.
I mean, seriously,
It's
because
a very good show. It's a very good show.
And also because of the format, it's like you got total freedom to kind of do your thing. I'm going to hit a couple of these starred chats. We hit these. Brian Iglesias.
Selfishly, shamelessly also add, like that.
Yes,
if you
please
want
do.
to follow, in my opinion, just me, but I'm a little selfish here. the perfect path if you want to be enlightened for Warriors coverage. Immediately after the game, join Locked On Warriors, and then just follow the train onto Larry's show. But I also, by saying that, I'm cutting into you a little bit, so sorry about that.
No, I mean, and tonight, we got. Sometimes I want to go right after the game, but a lot of times I like to let it breathe a little bit, give it 10, 15 minutes and get on
Smart.
there. And I know you're doing your thing for, half hour, 45 minutes, maybe longer.
It's supposed to be half an hour. Yeah, it's supposed to be 30 when we go long.
Tammy says, Larry, this show is amazing. I know that I'll say this. There's a lot of people that I didn't realize this, guys, but there's a lot of people that watch this show on like a big screen TV instead of like their phone. A buddy of mine who say, hey, Krug, he sent me a picture of him and his wife sitting there, and they got an 80-inch TV, and I mean, we're all on there, and it's like
crazy.
It's kind of amazing what YouTube has become as far as it's not just like an alternative; it's like a rival to television.
It's TV. Yeah, people. That's like I think that's how most people are watching Locked On Warriors. It's crazy. When I first started learning that, it kind of blew me away. I mean, I never wanted to ever, in all my years doing media, and I've been doing this for like 20 something years. I mean, shit, Larry, you and I go back to 2000, and in 2007, my life was, I was a happy person, man. I was like your producer. I was doing freelance journalism for like AOL when they were still relevant and had some power, and I was doing all this like freelance work for these outdoor magazines. Life was good. And then unfortunately all that crap happened. But my point is, like, I never did any of this radio writing to be like infamous or to be known. Like I like the anonymity. I like the, I preferred being obscure, and I never wanted to like get in front of a camera, man, like we're doing now, but it's how it is, dude. I think everyone has to do that. But yeah. And then I just quickly learned that people are just putting YouTube on their TV and putting us on blast. And that's why like the graphics are suddenly really important. And, but also like the live aspect of it is super cool, right? So you're watching TV, but you're literally just could engage with it if you want. And so it's interactive kind of, it's crazy. Yeah. It blew me away when I first learned about that. And it's global too, man. Like, I mean, at least for Locked On Warriors, or people in England, like Argentina, the Philippines, like just all over the place tuning in. It's crazy. It's insane. Yeah. Good stuff.
It is amazing. Riddy Musich says, my girl is hanging with me every night, tuning in, and loves this damn show. You got fans. So that's pretty cool too, man. I mean, I got to be honest, that's cool. And in some ways, that makes this better than radio. You know what I mean? I love the radio. God knows I've been doing radio since the mid-'90s. But there's something about this interaction and all the different things that we can do with the chats and the graphics and the scrolls and all that just makes it very, very cool. All right. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I'm just saying that I think one of the things that really makes this show entertaining and literally become a rocket ship is we all have experience though, so you're really getting like professional content delivery, because we've all worked in various mediums before, and all of a sudden technology has evolved to the point where the accessibility to get all this talent together is not hard. And then you add the other component where there isn't a program director saying, well, you can't say this or this. No, people can really be who they are. And I think that's what people want. Like, we can come in and kind of promote the Warriors like they do on television. That's their job. I get it. Yeah. But you need somebody to say, you know what? Poole wasn't mentally ready to play tonight. You're not going to hear that on the broadcast. So, and when he plays well, then say, hey, the guy had a great game tonight. So the authenticity is what really drives this, I believe.
There's no sacred cows. You know what I mean? It's not I'll tune into a broadcast, and maybe I'm on the flagship of a station, whether it be baseball and KMBR, basketball and 95.7, and they'll get into it, but then when they get to the sacred cow guy, they're like, oh, and they treat that guy with kid gloves. There is no sacred cow guy on this show in this format. That's just not the way I operate. I know that's not the way you guys operate, which is why I love having you on. GTC Real says, Larry, this is a no holds barred radio where teams don't control the station and the narrative. That's well said.
Yeah.
B-Force, this is a good one. I feel like I'm getting high with Cy on the big screen. Cy, can you blow more? Can you
It's a
blow more
cigar.
smoke? Can you blow one
That's
more?
tobacco, man.
Can
This
we
is
blow some
really-
smoke at the camera?
This is a
It's
victory
tobacco.
cigar with tobacco. I'm not inhaling it. I'm a sober individual right now. Sorry to disappoint. Yeah, it's right here.
You got to relight. You got to relight your blunt. Look at that.
Cigar.
Clarsard 49. You and your stupid podcast. My girlfriend, LOL. If only she knew what the Krug show was about. This is a good one
I did
too.
not inhale.
3 and 5. It's a great medium because the viewer can interact in real time unless they are blocked. LOL. That's funny. Anyway, I just, really good stuff. And I really appreciate it. Ron, I love this show. I'm not even a Warrior fan. Awesome job, fellas. There was one in here. What was it?
It's Friday night, right? The Warriors, that was a huge game they won. Even if it was the G League team, it was still a huge game.
I would say inside, they treated it like a playoff game.
Yeah, they did, man.
They tightened the rotation. It was basically an 8-man rotation. So, I mean, they treated this thing like a playoff game, and I expect them to do that again on Sunday.
Absolutely. Mind Springers. Larry is the every guy, but he's not. That's his appeal. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I always thought you were more of a diva, but yeah, I'm kidding.
GTC Reels. The fans and the host control the subject matter much better than the radio. RIP.
Well, and then the commercial breaks too. You don't got the 5-minute commercial breaks that seem to roll around every 20 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. There's no Cars for Kids ads that make you want to gouge your eyes out. Val Ramos, I wake up every day checking my phone to see if the Krug show is on or checking my notifications. Very cool. So hit like, hit subscribe. I'm glad that we had a chance to kind of go talk like this. GTC Real said, toke it. There you go. Celts Chronicles. And Celts, I think you was it Celts? I mean, maybe you could express this. I thought Celts reached out to somebody, maybe on Twitter, or was it there's somebody in your family, Celts, that was going through a tough time? I did see you put something out there.
Celts is my boy. I do a show with Celts. Yeah, I got a straight out of the base show with Celts on Mondays. Usually during it's a 49er show. During the season, we do it every Monday. Off season, it's been kind of sporadic, every 3 weeks or so. But yeah, Celts' wife had a surgery or something.
That's what it was. That's what it was. I saw her.
Sounds like it went well. And Celts, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Celts is my boy. He says, Larry, baller, my man. Frank, hella humble. Cy stays fired up. I've watched you more of your late night shows than any other show on YouTube. You get everything here, family feel, and the real star, Pasquale.
Kyle McKieran and Larry's the everyday guy except for every other day. GTC Real, yes, prayers to the wifey of Celts. So Celts, I did see your wife, the picture of your wife on Twitter there in the hospital, and I threw a prayer emoji your way, and hopefully it sounds like she's doing good.
And
let me go ahead.
Can I say real quick, GTC Reels? I don't know if you wrote this, but you're right. I think Gary Radnich, I do have to give him a lot of credit for me just making it because I was his producer for 3 years, and anyone who works with Gary, Larry, you co-hosted with him, like just being associated with him gives you notoriety. It's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, so I agree. You're absolutely right. And also real quick before you go to break,
here it is. Yeah, GTC Real says Gary made you. I don't know about that.
I mean, not entirely,
Gary made a lot of people. Gary did make a lot of people.
Yeah, I got to give him credit. He was a huge reason. 1983. This is a game that I was 13. Never think about. And then somebody put it on Twitter like it was a 76-yard touchdown pass in the NFC Championship, Montana to Freddie Solomon. And I watched this highlight and I'm like, holy shit! I don't remember the last time I saw this play. I don't remember the last time I thought about that game. I was 4 years old, maybe. So I didn't watch it, or I don't remember it. But do you remember it? Did you watch that game? And what were your thoughts on that? Because Bill Walsh complained the officials basically robbed the Niners.
Are you talking about the 83 NFC Championship game in Washington?
Redskins.
So what happened was the Niners gave Washington too much respect back then. It was a young Joe Montana. He had already won one ring, but they rolled into RFK, and they didn't play a particularly good first half, and they fell behind. And then Joe then the Niners realized, hey, you know what? We're better than them. And then they started boat racing them in the second half. And, RFK, it was like it had that high school gym vibe where you're not getting a fucking call, right? And Ronnie had a PI against him. I think Wright had a PI against him. There were two really, really bad calls that set Washington up for second half scores, and Washington went on to the Super Bowl, won it. They were a very good team, but the Niners were the better team. But if you talk to any Niner player on that 83 team, they'll tell you that 83 loss to Washington in Washington lit their fuse. And the Niners were not just the best team in 84.
Yeah.
They were on a mission, and they went 15-1. They kicked everybody's ass. Only, I think, one loss to Pittsburgh on a bad call at the goal line. Another PI call at the goal line was the only loss that the Niners had that entire season. And they rampaged. That was in my opinion, guys, that was the golden age of NFL football. You had the 84 Niners, one of the greatest teams of all time. The next year, of course, we know the 85 Bears. They Super Bowl shuffled their way in week 8 all the way to the Super Bowl. Think about that for a second. They produced the Super Bowl shuffle in week 8. If anybody did that now, you'd be like, what? Could you imagine? They're talking Super Bowl in week 8. The Bears did it. 86 Giants. LT, Banks, Reasons, Carthon, amazing team.
Marshall,
87, Leonard Marshall, who actually I've gotten to know. Leonard Marshall's an awesome guy. I love Leonard Marshall now. I hated him when he knocked out Montana. 87 Redskins with Kelvin Bryant, awesome team. That was a strike year. 88 Niners won it again. 89 Niners won it again. 90, the Niners would have won it again, but Roger fumbled, sadly. New York went back, and they upset. Buffalo was the best team probably outside of the Niners that year.
Yeah.
But Otis Anderson, great. O.J. Anderson had an incredible – Parcells had an incredible game plan. I think it was in Tampa. They played ball control with O.J. Anderson, and they beat
that was the Norwood
beat Buffalo.
Game. Yeah, that was the Norwood
and then
game.
Dallas burst onto the scene, and then Niners got one more.
That NFC Championship, 1990, that is my most painful sports memory ever. Like
83.
It
was very painful. It was painful for Ronnie. Oh, 93.
Yeah. But
when they lost in a Candlestick or lost in Dallas.
The one in Candlestick.
Well, I talked to Steve Young about that game. To me, 92 NFC Championship game was the last. That was the last true clash of Titans, because you had the Cowboys with all their Hall of Famers, and you had the Niners with all their Hall of Famers. It was pre-salary cap. That was the dawning of the salary cap the very next year. So I would say the 90 or the 2 years from then, 94, I think was the first year of the cap. 92 Niners Cowboys was, in my opinion, the true last clash of dynasty Titans in the NFL. I think everything's been a little watered down since then. Now, I didn't mind it because I was a Niner fan and they spent like crazy. But for the other teams in the league, they didn't like the fact the Niners went 3 deep at every position. I mean, the Niners had Smurless, Jim Burt, and Michael Carter all at nose guard. And they all were Pro Bowlers.
Right.
I mean, they were stacked. They were freaking stacked. Couple last ones here before we jump. I think I'm not going to play the spots tonight. I think I'm just going to play Frank's song on the way out. Wow. How about that, Frank? Can we do that?
I appreciate it, brother.
Let's do that. But let me hit the starred chats because we had some good ones here. We'll run through them quick. Mind Springers. Giants are irrelevant. There you go. We got a super chat from GTC Reels. You haven't lived until you received a scathing 2-page Rick Barry email reply after his radio show on a disagreement during the Warriors' terrible era. You know what I used to love about Rick? I would be doing appearances with Rick when we were both at KMBR, and like somebody would come up to him and they'd be like so excited to meet him. Rick, you taught me how to shoot the underhand free throw. And Rick, in classic Rick fashion, instead of just going, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, good luck to you. He'd be like, which one did I teach you? Did I teach you this way or that way? And the guy would be like, this way. He's like, that's the wrong way. And the guy was like, oh, you taught me the wrong way. It's like, Rick, just go with it. Just go with it. The guy loves you. And you're like, I taught you the wrong way. But Rick's golden. And yeah, I love Rick to death. Immortal-ish 30. Kuminga is his X factor. I think Kuminga is very much an X factor. Maybe Moody too. George Garcia, you're a fucking starter. Oh, now he's ripping the Warriors. Your fucking starters just beat the Stockton Kings. Now shut the fuck up. George, you got anger problems, but I like you anyway. Tammy McDaniel, Moody needs to play more minutes.
Yes, agreed.
Tammy McDaniel
Kurt finally listened to Cy and played Moody ahead of Anthony Lamb.
Yeah, exactly. Tammy again. Cyrus's take is fire.
Thank you, Tammy.
Bomber T. Cy went buck wild. Now these are all going to be about Cy and Danny, probably. Mind Springers. Cy was out of line. It was personal.
Agree to disagree.
808 Niner. Make Fox play some D, tire him out. I saved that one because, guys, I really think that right there is the key to the Sacramento series. Make De'Aaron Fox play defense and, fuck the beam at that point. He plays defense and if you can force Fox to expend energy on the defensive side of the floor, I think that's the key to beating Sacramento. Before I go to another one.
Fox on?
What's that?
Who do you think they're going to put Fox on?
Who do you think Sacramento's going to defend? Who's going to defend Fox, or who's Fox going to defend?
Who's Fox going to guard?
Steph, I think.
Yeah,
well, GP2 when he's out there, I imagine, but Steph probably.
Well, then he's going to be running around. He's going to be running miles then.
Yeah.
According to this, he's going to be tired as hell. Steph Curry runs around more than any other player in the league.
Well, and who's Sabonis going to defend? I mean, there's a few like little, Sabonis isn't going to be able to defend anybody. So
they're going to attack Sabonis. You're going to want to get Sabonis out. Put him in a lot of pick and roll actions to see is he going to step out all the way, or is Curry going to get some open looks? And if he steps out, that's when you can kind of blow by him and get to the rim. They don't got a lot of rim protection over there in Sacktown.
Agreed.
James Frost says, "Woo, that was testy between Cy and Danny." Nate Dogg, Cy smoked that angry weed. Bouncer, is this the Jerry Springer show? And you know what? Your girlfriend's in the backstage. She's going to come out right now, and she's going to tell you, who is it, your child or not? Oh, that's the Maury Povich. So, Randy 415 didn't know this would be Friday night fireworks.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Driver 8, lay down the law, Larry. Come on, man. I don't lay down the law. Bomber T, this got wild, man. Immortal-ish 30. Oh, man. Cy came in salty. Nate Dogg's ripping everybody. You guys are a bunch of sorority girls. MF, Cy is more important than Dan. Joking. Al Felipe, Adobo Dan versus Smoking Cy. Get it on. Hendricks, here we go. Hendricks again. Ding, 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 ding. Tom Pierce. Tammy, are you happy? Because Tammy wanted this. Tammy called this out. Nate Dogg. Cy is so triggered by Dan laughing my ass off. Mark Graves, Thrilla in Manila because Danny's in Manila. That might be the chat of the night. Bouncer, yes. Dan versus Cy, yes. We got B Force. Kuminga's inside game reminds me of James Worthy. What do you think, Frank?
Worthy in 11th grade?
Worthy had a Worthy.
Come on, man.
Come on, Worthy on the break with the way he would just move the ball around.
Kuminga is better, right? I think
no.
Kuminga
Better than Worthy? No.
I mean, he looks more athletic. I mean,
he's more athletic. He's more athletic. There's no question. He's better athlete. But he's not Worthy.
Worthy's Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Worthy. I mean, if Kuminga's compared to Worthy down the road,
not now. But I'm just saying that Kuminga's ceiling is so. I'm excited to see what that is, because we haven't seen it yet.
He's had a breakout year. I mean, he gives, I think, Warrior fans and fans of him hope that this guy, he has some real potential to be not only just a starter but an impact player in this league. We have to learn a lot about basketball, though.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was this show or Locked On Warriors where I brought up how. Imagine the Warriors 5 years from now. Like Poole is 28. I mean, and I'm excited to see what 28-year-old Poole is, right? I mean, that could be a phenomenal player. Kuminga's 25. Moody's 25. Wiggins is on the other side, but still at 33, probably still contributing. 34. It's exciting, man, because then you add pieces around that and you keep this run going. I
tell you, I want the Warriors to get Jalen Suggs in the worst way. I just think personality-wise, he fits. You know, I mean, for all those guys that we're talking about, they're great players, they're great talents, but are they great leaders? We've been spoiled with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Moody, Sean Livingston. These are great leaders. And that's the thing that's going to really decide how far the Warriors go. Because once you get paid, Si, once you have the big house, your family, and then what's your motivation? How do you function as an individual at that point?
Yeah, we're seeing with Poole, right? I mean, because Poole's starting to get the real money, and a lot of people criticize his regression in terms of some efficiency numbers as him being less motivated. So, I mean, I don't buy into that, but some people say it. And
hey, we'll jet here. Celts Chronicles says she's recovering well. Prayer is powerful. The love is appreciated, and it's more than you know. So, on that note, guys, it's 12:08. We're gonna jet, but but let's play it right here. We're gonna play "Make You Feel" right here. I'm not gonna play the ads tonight. I've been on all day today talking and going. Let's just play this. We'll leave Celts Chronicles. Peace to all you guys. Outstanding show, and "Make You Feel" by the guy right there up top.
Thank you. Good night.
You miss your shot at life. You think there's nothing else for you to do. This ain't a tragedy, son. I know I've seen a few. You're not responsible for somebody else's thrill. Your integrity's intact and you're still trying to climb the hill. I was a lonely man. I never thought it would come true. But sometimes in life, all you have are your dreams and you. That's when you realize that life ain't standing still. And all you can do is bow your head and accept God's will. But it's funny how it makes you feel. It's funny how it makes you feel. I said it's funny how it makes you feel. Life is but a thrill. He had no time for small talk. He didn't mince words, just sum the lyrics to the best song he ever heard. All his hopes and dreams had turned to despair. But what he was facing, there was no way to prepare. This came from a man who thought his life was ending. In his mind, it was serious. There was no pretending. He checked the clock on the wall before he said his goodbyes. He made tears, he has gone. See back into his eyes. He was old in life. There'll be no encore. He raised his hands to the heavens, put his knees on the floor. Don't have to be a genius to know he'd been blessed. He said he'd pay it forward and always do his best. At that moment, what he's been searching for became clear. He was here to serve those who living in fear. With his newfound enlightenment in the wind at his back, he's prepared to live out his life's final act. He was a rich man now. He had purpose in life. And to capture this feeling, you don't pay a price. Before we set up on his own, he made a pledge to get some wins and live his life against the grain to the bitter end. You miss your shot at life. You think there's nothing else for you to do. This ain't a tragedy, son. I know I've seen a few. You're not responsible for somebody else's thrill. Your integrity's intact and you're still trying to climb the hill. I was a lonely man. I never thought it would come true. But sometimes in life, all you have are your dreams and you. That's when you realize that life ain't standing still.